DM-Nastics, the gym for dungeon masters to work out their minds. I'm one of your hosts, DM Neil, aka Jote Maniac.
And it's me, your other host, DM Celeste, aka, Sea Witch.
Perfect. We are having a wonderful time.
Woo!
Yeah, it's a rough go here.
It's the middle of the week.
In the gym.
Middle of the week energy when we're recording this.
What is often said about the gym, as someone who, again, I am a certified personal trainer, which is really funny. Now all this gym stuff is like things I actually do.
Makes sense.
One of the hardest things is to actually show up at the gym. Because once you're there, it's like, well, am I going to not work out and drive all the way home?
Nah.
Unlikely. That said, I have seen it before, and it was one of the most entertaining things. The lady was just like, no, I'm not interested. And left.
Yeah, no, I'm just here to get a smoothie. Bye.
So today, though, we are going to actually go back in time. It's weird to say that realizing that our discussion is going to look back at some of the tables inside of the Dungeon Master's Guide and just see what we can come up. Mm-hmm. I know it comes up a lot, and I know that Dan Dillon is one of the biggest proponents of this idea, is that the Dungeon Master's Guide has a lot in it and a lot that people don't realize are in it. We've touched on certain aspects of it before, certainly about like the massive damage and the sanity and. So one of the things we're going to do is just grab random tables and see if they can help us and what we would do after rolling on those. So the other thing I will say is a huge shout out to Sly Flourish for doing all the legwork of creating a PDF document that will be linked in the show notes for every table that's currently in the Dungeon Master's Guide.
This is great. I wish I've had this my whole life.
Me too, because I was like, oh
man, they're all over the place. I know. I grabbed my book. I was like, Neil, how are we going to do this?
I thought the same thing, because I was like trying to prep for the episode. I was like, oh, maybe I'll look them.
No.
All the legwork is done for us.
Yes.
Okay. So looking at that, is there a table that speaks to you, like that jumps off the page? Several are highlighted.
Oh, man. I just, this is great. This is always such a great example of how much stuff is in the DMG and how weirdly organized it is that we just don't ever look at these things. Yeah, but I'm already right now, obviously, Feywild Time Warp speaks deeply to me as a table that is on this list. I also really like looking event-based villain actions is cool. I want to look at that. Adventure villains. That section seems really bomb. So I don't know. Do you want to look at some of the tables on like starting at 74?
Yep, let's do it.
Okay. All right. So in this section, right, apparently on all these tables, we have other goals, adventure villains, adventure allies, adventure patrons, adventure introductions, adventure climax, events-based villain actions, event-based goals. These are all cool. Let's see if they deliver. This is the episode, I guess, where you'll hear us flipping a lot of pages, I'm guessing. Dear listeners.
I'll add in extra page flips to really send it.
Ooh, yeah.
All right, so which one of the... I'm going to pick... Actually, on page 73, I'm going to pick dungeon goals.
Ooh, okay. Dungeon goals. I like that.
So I'm going to roll a d20. Let's say we both roll a d20, and then we see what we both get.
Right now, my floor, I'm in the midst of a big design project, listeners, so my floor is just covered in books of all varieties, and it's a minefield getting anywhere.
Nice.
At the moment. They're all open, and I have, little red strings connecting them all. It'll be great. Okay, I've got my D20. I've arrived. Okay, I got 5.
Okay, so you have rolled find a particular item for a specific purpose. And I have rolled 7, find information needed for a special purpose.
Ooh, okay. I really like this in particular because I feel like in 5th edition, not enough love has been given to dungeons in general. So I think this is a cool way to, like, why would you want to go into a dungeon? Yeah, I really like the idea of the one I rolled, find a particular item for a specific purpose. That automatically makes me think of, like, what if your dungeon is, a weird, like, underground cavern in a lost civilization and they had some cool magic tech or something, like, and you need to go in and just like get a machine or an engine or like a gear to plug in to make something else out in the rest of the world work. I think that's a very cool idea.
Well, and then that works hand in hand with the one that I rolled, because then it's like, what information is there? And you bring it up really well, as like a lot of the 5th edition approach, and we'll say just probably from the WotC things, because it's not like there's not a lot of dungeons out there. There are a staggering amount, but the approach almost feels like it gives like a Skyrim vibe sometimes.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, here's a dungeon, we'll go through it and see what we find. Whereas these having a very specific purpose of like, no, we've researched, and this lost artifact with this information is in this mechanical temple over here. That's where it is. That's absolutely where you need to go. I don't know what you'll find when you get there, but like, here's an actual direction and a reason to enter the dungeon.
Yeah, I feel like we have dungeons. It's part of the game, but I feel like nobody ever took the time to explain, especially to new players or coming to 5th edition, like why dungeons are an important part of the story, or like why they should really be there. It's just like, you should go here. Here's a dungeon. And then you're like, blah. So this is really cool to see little tables like this that might actually inform, why do these dungeons exist? Why are they hiding these big artifacts? Or were they something before they were a dungeon, right? And that's why they've now become a dungeon that hides the cog of the thing that used to be the city, that used to be here, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah. Well, I think about the layers of it too. Like, I feel like it hasn't, they haven't really honed in as much on the layers that happen. Mm-hmm. So I think of the Louvre in Paris when I had gone. I did not go inside because I realized, one, it's very expensive. I did not have enough time to enjoy myself. So instead, I was like, I'll go to the shopping mall beneath the Louvre.
Ooh, cool.
Come to find out, though, when they started to excavate to make the shopping mall, they actually found a Roman museum that was older than the one above. And so now it's like this really interesting mix of ancient Roman statues and modern technology with the mall back and forth. But the idea that like those specific layers, is it like the first layer is dwarves, the secondary layer is elves because XYZ reasons. I feel like that history is hit on.
I have to humble brag about Cobalt Press. They have a mega dungeon called Scarlet Citadel that is like a 10-layer dungeon, and basically it's built on that. So each layer was built up with the history of like why it's there, and like a boss on one level, encouraged a certain group of creatures to inhabit up above, right? Made them caves and stuff to make them at home, to guard the layer below, which guards, this thing, like this energy source it was built on top of. So that kind of story. So that's one good example of how you can really layer, I guess, because each dungeon is like its own, biosystem and community. So it's very cool when you can play with ideas like that in your campaign.
Yeah, and then having run completely through the Emerald Spire from Pathfinder as well, because it's basically like this whole thing. The Spire is a through line for the whole dungeon, but it's like, well, okay, but then how did it originally show up? Once you get to the lowest level, you start to figure out like this ancient history, and then as but the earliest ones are just like, there's goblins, and then yeah, that kind of thing.
Cool, very cool.
I like the pages we're on, so I mean, if we wanted to, we could just jump over to villains.
Yeah, I love my villains for sure. Ooh. Wow, okay, this is interesting. So this adventure villains table, half of these are humanoids.
Mm-hmm.
All right, okay. Well, here, let's go ahead and roll, see what we got. Got me a humanoid schemer seeking to rule. I love those kind of stories. It's very classic fantasy to me.
Okay, and I rolled an 8, so likely behind them is a fae with a mysterious goal.
Ooh, yes. I love that kind of stuff, because the humanoid schemer could absolutely, like, how do they come to power? They make a deal with a fae. And why is the fae doing that? Because they also are invested in, destroying maybe the previous ruler or whoever it is. So the human with a scheme can be absolutely a convenient stepping stone to the larger goal.
Yeah. And then, trying to layer these on, like the idea of how interesting would be the introduction of mechanical features to the Feywild.
Yeah.
And then is there a true merging of like this biomechanical type thing? And then going from there, could it really just shake up and cause chaos in the Feywild by introducing a bunch of machines?
Yeah, it's very cool.
Okay, but we have allies. We need them.
We need them to help fight our humanoid teaming up with a big fae. So here we go. Adventure allies. Bum, ba, ba, ba. Okay. All right, then. A soldier. Rough and tumble soldier. Oh, what if it's like a clockwork soldier that they find in the city that's like, you can take this gear with you, but I have to come with you to protect it. It is my sworn duty.
The Gear Guardian.
Yeah, the Gear Guardian.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to help you. I think this is a good thing to get this out of here, but I'm here to make sure you don't bunk it up.
Okay.
I love that.
And I say that they have some divine power because I rolled a 9, which is a celestial ally.
Ooh, I feel like we're starting to creep towards, the whole mechanist, that plane where like the Modrons are and all that, the plane of absolute law that's usually associated with constructs and stuff. So that could be very cool.
Yeah, which I think then starts to tell, we're really starting to tell the story because is that celestial ally then opposed to the concept of that Fae introducing what is essentially law into chaos or chaos into law. Because the reverse could be true. What if that mysterious thing is, if I can figure out how to force mechanics into the Feywild, then why wouldn't I then be able to force the Feywild into the mechanics?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think too, the Feywild is such a chaotic place, I feel like. So that interplay between, the law, the construct, like machine has to work this way, and then the buck wildness of the Fey, I think would be a really compelling story, how those two things interact and what they want.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay. We have a patron, and this is a D20.
Okay. Back to the D20. Okay. We have 15, an old friend.
Who happens to be a number 1, a retired adventurer.
Oh, there we go. That's easy. That's nice. Perhaps this is even the adventurer who originally discovered the dungeon or knows something about this lost city. Maybe even their group went down there once upon a time and they didn't reach the far levels or whatever it was, but yeah, that'd be cool.
It's always such an interesting concept, too, about adding that next piece of the dungeon doesn't have to be the next piece of the story.
Right.
In the sense that, you're delved too deep and you do need to come back out. Do you need to resupply? Do you need to do X, Y, Z? And then you go off on another adventure and now you're strong enough to take that next step into the dungeon. But yeah, retired adventurer, because were they the only one that survived?
Yeah. Yeah. So, that could even be a thing. If those all other adventurers, if they just disappeared in that dungeon, they could still be there. Or maybe they've been transformed into undead you have to deal with, or all kinds of fun stuff. The way the past can come to bite you in the butt.
Yep. Well, or you think of this is way more fun than I thought it was going to be. Just so, the premise of this entire episode, I was like, it should be good.
Let's mess around with tables.
I'm not going to lie. It's been more fun than I was expecting. Because the other thing I thought was the big reveal that the essence or personality or something like that of one of the adventurers that had passed is inside the Gear Guardian.
Oh, the ghost of the machine.
Yeah. So then the retired adventurer realizes and recognizes that this is someone that they had lost.
Wow. Cool. Drama. I love that drama.
Yes.
I'm here for the drama, the tragedy.
So this next one is fun because I forgot that this was in here. And then we're going back to a D12.
Okay.
But there are 12 adventure introduction ideas.
Ooh. I like it. Here we go. I'm gonna roll. All right. Ooh, I got 6. A stranger approaches the characters in a tavern and urges them toward the adventure location.
Ooh. And I got 9. An NPC the characters must obey orders them to go to the adventure location.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Well, we have that celestial ally as well as the retired adventurer from before.
If a celestial showed up in a tavern and was like, y'all, you must save the world. Yeah. And even could put you under a Gaius spell or something of that nature too, to kick that off for sure.
Also, I really like 6 because I think it does something that we don't necessarily do all the time. And I say that as a royal wearing the crown myself, that if your party is often having a discussion in a very public place that
Yes.
other people would 1000% be able to
Oh,
overhear.
oh, absolutely.
So it's super
Listen
easy to have
Yeah.
number 6 just be like, oh, where'd you guys talking? Are you talking about the thing? And well, you got it. And have that person who's obviously had 1 to 3 too many come over and be the one that says, this is where you need to go.
Yeah.
Then you can have that second layer to say, no, that is where you are going to go. I'm telling you that's where you're going now.
You must. I am the king, the hidden king, and you have been bragging about the treasure you got for the last 20 minutes. You must go.
Yep.
You think you're hot stuff? Then try out this dungeon. Oh,
Get
hang
out
on.
of here.
I unplugged my headphones. Chaos. Hang on. Got too excited. Pretending to be the NPC king. All right, I'm good.
Perfect. So I like that. So then we have the adventure climax. We have 12 options here as well.
So far, I'm liking our adventure. How does it do the thing? 12 again. Like all the love for D12s in this book. Oh boy. Here we go. Well, this plays in perfectly. Number 10, a threat more powerful than the adventurers appears, destroys the main villain, and then turns its attention on the adventurers. This is our Fae showing up for sure.
Okay. This is really
yeah.
interesting because I rolled 12, which says the adventurers must discover the main villain's secret weakness before they can hope to defeat that
so
villain.
good.
So that's the twist, is they figure it out.
Twist.
The other thing shows up and is more powerful than both the villain and the characters.
Yeah, so if you're dealing with a bad boy archfey or something, right? Like, and they just show up and you've already paved the way now. Maybe they get the gear, they get to do whatever they want to do. And then you have to figure out how to undo it. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, failing and running is an interesting concept there. If I think like, you know, watching Vox Machina and like, oh wow, these are real big dragons and we can't fight all these dragons, so we run away until we can fight these dragons. Yeah, like having a true archfey show up and then take over that space, but the players knowing, well, there's nothing we can do right now about it. We're going to need to get more allies and resources before we could.
Bam, and that's how you do a campaign. That's how you keep it going.
Done. Wow.
Book 2. Nice. That sounds like a fun adventure. Good luck fighting a time warpy archfey.
Yeah. Okay.
Woo.
So I feel like that's gotten us close. Okay. Look at the list from Sly Flourish, and I'll look, and we're gonna pull just some random ones.
Random ones.
We'll roll off of those.
I forgot they have all the ones to generate dungeons and stuff too. All the random rooms. That's great.
Oh, I'm excited.
Ooh, Dungeon Creator.
Okay, I'm ready. I found one. I don't know why I would ever put this in my game, but I'm ready.
You're ready? Okay. Let's do it.
If you head over to page 140 in the Dungeon Master's Guide, well, there's 2, so we'll just talk about both of them real quick. There's 2 variant tables here. 1, mixing potions.
Yeah.
2, scroll mishaps.
Fun.
So let's roll us.
Let's see what happens. What mishaps do we get? Do you want to roll out potions? Roll scrolls? Yeah. Okay.
Oh, well, that's not as fun.
Yeah. Oh, and it's pretty cash. I say the caster suffers a minor but bizarre effect related to the spell. Such effects only last as long as the original spell's duration. For example, a fireball might cause smoke to billow from the caster's ears for, 1d10 minutes. I mean, that's fun. That's fun. People love that kind of wild magic surge stuff.
Mine is in the mid-range, and so I rolled an 18, so it says 1 potion loses its effect.
Wow.
So the interesting thing is the 1 in the 100, because 1 creates a magical explosion dealing 60 10 force damage to the mixer and 1d10 force damage to each creature within 5 feet. And
Nice.
100. Only 1 potion works, but its effects are permanent.
Oh no. Oh no. I also
like that it's literally the next line is my favorite. Just choose the one that's the simplest to implement. Don't decide any other way. Which one do you think would be easier?
The one that seems the most fun. So perfect. That's excellent. Well done. Well done. Oh my god. Imagine if you did this with like a potion of gaseous form. Like you have to be a floating gas cloud for the rest of your
I thought about invisibility as well.
Yeah. Yep. The Invisible Man. Uh-oh. That's literally the plot of The Invisible Man, right? He drinks a thing and he's like, oh no. Oh no.
Oil of etherealness. You're just stuck in the ethereal plane.
In the ethereal plane forever. Oh man. I feel like we don't have enough villains that this kind of stuff happens to, because boy would I be mad if this happened to me, and then I would absolutely haunt people. Why aren't ghosts like this? I accidentally drank a potion, got stuck in the ethereal plane, and now I have no choice but to haunt you for the rest of my life. I'm so bored. Amazing.
Imagine you just watch your main boss chug 2 potions and then just permanently go invisible.
And you're like, well,
that's just the end.
I guess I'm not getting a raise. Okay. I love it.
Awesome.
Oh boy. Okay. I just have to look. So there's a table on here that says moral quandaries, and I just want to know. I just want to know.
What page?
79. Page 79. Moral quandaries. Oh, wait, it's like so short. If you want to give the characters a crisis that no amount of spellcasting or swordplay can resolve, add a moral quandary. A moral quandary is a problem of conscience, for which the adventurers must make a single choice, but never a simple one. There's only 5 on here: an ally quandary, friend quandary, honor quandary, rescue quandary, or respect quandary. I feel like that's not quite enough information to make that cool.
That sounds fun. Do the one next to it. That looks like fun.
Ooh, yeah, framing events. You can base an entire adventure on a framing event. Present several ideas. Ooh, okay. Ooh, these are fun. Let's see. D100. Oh, man. More dice. Ooh, I got a 93. A trial. That's good. That's classic.
Which is funny because I got a 98, which is a wedding. Or wedding anniversary.
Yes, a trial and a wedding. Both 2 legal events. Amazing.
Perfect. At the same time. Well, yeah, I mean, if it's like a forced, I mean, it could be like a Jerry Springer situation. We don't know. Like, you have to marry them. That's the law. Like, you did something wrong. There you go. If
your moral quandary.
Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Yes.
And the person pops up and then a whole trial.
Oh my God.
Wedding.
Oh God. Some of these are really great. Arrival of a circus. Nice. Birthday of an important NPC. A fertility festival. Oh my. A graduation of cadets or wizards. These are good.
I forgot there's a whole set of NPC tables as well.
Oh yeah, okay, there's like traits and yeah.
Okay, we'll just agree that this was more fun than we thought it was, yes. And this is probably something we'll be doing.
Maybe we'll do this again. There's plenty of tables.
So it would seem. Okay, but if you enjoyed listening to us to talk about table talking, then you can definitely head over to your podcatcher of choice. Leave us a rating and review because word on the street that's super helpful.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And of course, if you want to reach out to us directly, you can always email us at dmnastics@gmail.com. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at DM-Nastics, me personally at cconowitch, Neil at Jote Moniac, and for everything else on the network, check out blockpartypodcastnetwork.com.
And a huge thank you to the bards over on Bombarded for our intro and outro music, and you can find more about them at bombardedcast.com. Rather than let these mental gains go to waste, let's head to taking your supplements. Taking your supplements! Speaking of supplements, Celeste, is there anything that you've written lately that you've sent out to a huge number of people?
Oh boy, yeah, I can talk about that. So, hey everybody, if you don't know, I am the senior game designer for Kobold Press, which is a company that has made a lot of 5th edition products. And we recently announced a very cool new thing called Project Black Flag, which is basically a reworking and redesign of D&D 5th edition, with a goal to basically keep 5th edition in print and keep it awesome, especially as we're looking at, 1 D&D coming out. So we have been rolling out playtests for that. Our very first playtest packet actually just dropped a couple days ago. So if you want to see what we're up to, we just dropped a lineage and heritage packet that covers some of the fundamentals of character creation. So we'd love for you to go and check it out, see what we're up to. If you can find that link on the Cobalt Press website, Project Black Flag Playtest Packet 1. You can download the packet there. And then we also have a forum where you can submit playtest feedback. So we've only got a couple of weeks for feedback. So make sure to go. And if you're interested, check it out. We'd love to hear your thoughts. We are getting a ton of feedback and a lot of positive responses. So we are loving all the great ideas and such. So check it out.
Definitely. And in the show notes, I'll link over to Ted from Nerd Immersion. If digital and YouTube are more your format, he does a really solid read through and breakdown of it, adds in his own opinions and flavors, certainly. But yeah, it's a great way to go that method if you're not as interested in reading it word for word, which I did. And I enjoyed it. I'm excited to see what's next.
Heck yeah.
I also made my players do it because I'm like, guys, at the end of it, it only sort of matters what I mean, I guess I can force the hand of everyone at this table, but like, what do you guys think?
Yeah.
So, I'm waiting for feedback from some of my players before I give my own.
Cool. Yeah. Get involved.
Definitely check that out.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. And we'll have a link to that in the show notes as well. But with that, we'll turn out the lights and head out of the gym. But before we go, we want to implore you, the listener, to join us wherever you can find us, the forums, the Discord, Twitter, and anywhere else. And of course, take part in these challenges, exercises, and other amazing conversations being had.
To do that, head over to dungeonmasterblock.freeforums.net and try some DM-Nastics so your players don't ask, do you even lift?